Hello, and welcome to the SAF Audiovisual Cast, where we, SAF, connect and share information from top university officials, faculty, and administration directly with SAF students and parents. Thanks for joining us.
So I am here with Hiroto Katakura for a student edition of the SAFcast. Hello, Hiroto.
Hello, William.
So I have some info from you, but I'd love to double check. Let's start with the basics. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Hiroto Katakura. I'm from Tokyo. I go to UCSD Extension to focus on studying English. And I finished the freshman at Gakushuin University. My major is political science.
Okay, now thank you for the intro. So you are a political science major and
Yes.
you are studying right now at UCSD in
Yes.
San Diego, UCSD Extension. And it is a pandemic at the moment. Many students are studying virtually, but I think what you're doing is a little bit different than some other students. So where are you based right now?
So 2 months ago, I could take in-person class just Monday and Wednesday, but from next week, I have to take online class because of COVID. So all classes will be online.
Okay, so because of COVID, now again, some of your classes, most of your classes will be online, but you are in San Diego as an exchange student as well. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and when did you arrive in San Diego?
I arrived last March.
Okay, fantastic. So I say fantastic, but I know last March was the beginning of some crazy times. So maybe we could talk about some of that. I think a lot of students and potential students would like to hear about your experience.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can let's start with some of the basics. Before you arrived, what made you pick San Diego?
Oh, I picked, my major is political science, but I picked English extension class because I want to study English for the TOEFL test. So I focus on studying English.
Okay, so you found a good English program, and maybe we can talk quickly about the application process with SAF. Was it difficult? Did it take a long time?
I don't think it is very difficult, but I had to prepare the documents online. So, and I'm not good at using computers, so that was a little hard.
Okay. And now I need to bring this up as fast as possible because I think you are good at something which also brought you to San Diego. So you've been surfing a lot, right?
Yes, I like surfing.
Right on. So do you surf in Japan before?
Yes, I started surfing 2 years ago.
Okay. And did that influence your decision on which school to study English at?
Yes, it is. This
Nice.
is one reason.
One reason. Well, right on. Years ago, I studied in China as a study abroad student, and I think I went for the food.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
right on. I'm just kidding. I went to study. I'm just goofing around. But the food was also very good.
Yeah.
All right. So, but we have so many questions to get through. So first, maybe we can hear a little bit more about your trip to UCSD. How did you make it over there?
Yeah. I came here UCSD and I went to UCSD last March, and it was so huge. So I was so surprised.
Okay. And when you arrived, were there still in-person classes happening?
Oh, I could take in-person class from 2 months ago.
Okay, so they began 2 months ago. But when you arrived in March, you were on online
Yes,
class?
all classes were online class.
Okay, okay. And now, was this your first trip to the United States?
Yes, it was the first trip.
Okay. Now, again, we have to understand that it's a crazy time. March 2020 wouldn't have been the most normal of all times to visit. But what was your first impression?
Oh, my first impression was my host child can speak Japanese, so he helped my understanding a lot. So that was really surprised.
So you bring up a pretty cool topic. You are staying with a host family. Is that right?
Yes, yes,
Okay. Can you tell us about them?
yes. My host family has three people, and they're very kind, gentle, and they told me a lot of American culture. So I like them, and their food is very delicious. So it was very comfortable for me.
Okay. So you are right now taking classes online and you're actually at your host house. Is that right? Or host
Yes,
apartment?
yes,
Okay. And you're in San Diego?
yes. I am in San Diego.
And I guess you're somewhat near the beach.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. So now San Diego for the rest of America is is famous for being a easygoing West Coast, maybe beach city. But I think many people that would listen don't know much about it. Can you introduce us to this Southern California city that you're staying in?
Yes, I stay at San Diego. San Diego is very famous for surfing or many beautiful culture, and I think there are very fantastic waves in California. So I can easy to go to Los Angeles or Malibu or Oceanside. So that was very good access.
Okay, that's fantastic. And have you thought about going to Mexico at all?
Yes, and actually, I I will go to Mexico next month.
Wow, fun. Baja?
I will go to Ponta de Mita.
Okay. I believe you are taking advantage of your time in California. Now, let's talk about that arrival in San Diego. Your first week, what was it like?
Yes, first week I felt jet lag because Japan and California has time difference, so that was very exhausted. And on first day, my hospital cooked steak for me. It was so big and delicious. And also, I went to La Jolla Shores to see the sea lions. I really surprised because I, you know, I just saw sea lions in zoo, but we can see the sea lions in beach. So San Diego's nature is beautiful.
Yeah, that is a very cool thing about San Diego. And the sea lions have so much personality, right? So much character.
Oh, yes, yes.
I think they're very funny.
Yeah.
So let's talk about coursework and classrooms. You first started taking class within your first week?
Yes, yes. I could go to UCSD campus and I took placement test in at campus. But the next week, from next week, the all courses changed to virtual. So the first class was hard to join because I didn't know how to use the Zoom link or Zoom account. So
Okay.
it was
So some changes and some learning. And what about communicating with all this happening? I feel like within your first week, communicating with your host family, communicating with your home school, home university, and
Mhm.
also UCSD. How did you keep in touch with all the changes?
So my host child helped a lot because he can speak Japanese. So in my house, uh, my host child translate my host mother's speaking, and I could understand. And I said, so that was no problem. But at campus, it was hard. So I asked teacher again and again
Okay.
to understand.
Well, that's a good way to learn on the fly. You really, I bet your English has improved a lot over the time that you've been.
I hope so.
Okay, so now let's talk about coursework. What was your coursework like when you started? And maybe you can take us through, what are you doing now?
Okay. I've taken a lot of courses, such as grammar course or reading course, speaking and listening course, or TOEFL or IELTS course. So, and my favorite course is fluency course. Fluency course is speaking, practice speaking, such as the about general topic, such as environment issues or climate change or health problem, like that. So I can learn new things through watching videos. So I like that class.
Okay, and tell us about your teachers.
Mhm. My There are many teachers at UCSD campus, and my favorite teacher is Miss Debbie Inada. She's enthusiastic and trustworthy and very kind. So she corrected my speaking problem or my grammar mistakes, and so there she corrected me a lot. So I like her, and I
Very,
want to take her class.
very cool, very cool. And it's great to have teachers who are good at their job and care. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I want to hear a little bit more about the other students in your classes.
Mhm.
Can you tell us about them?
Yes, my class has about 15 students, and most of the students are from Saudi Arabia, and some students are from Kazakhstan or Japan or Korean. And I learned a lot from them because of there's so different culture. So Saudi Arabia students asked to the teacher a lot, and that helped me my understanding. So that was good, and I learned many cultures.
That sounds fantastic. It's a great mix. So I suppose also you are forced to speak English with everyone. I imagine the other students don't speak Japanese.
Yes, I most of the time I didn't speak Japanese because I focus on studying English. So yes.
Well, that sounds exciting. I'd also like to hear a little bit more about your impressions of San Diego. Now, I know that you do a lot of surfing, so you're out on the waves. I guess that means you're waking up early in the morning.
Yes, sometimes.
Okay, so it's a beautiful place on the coast.
Mhm.
And what else? Take us through a typical day. Maybe what else are you doing? And also tell us about how you fit studies into the mix of your day.
Mhm. So, for example, I have conversation partner. He goes to UCSD, and I I met him and I hung out to go hiking, or there are many trails in San Diego. So that was good exercise and practice English. So also, California has very nice food, which is California burrito. That was so amazing. So I like to discover the burritos.
Oh, okay. So now we get to a topic I think everyone likes to hear about, and I love to ask about. You've been into the burritos. California's got a lot of good food. Even some Japanese food is famous for the California roll, right?
Yeah, right.
So you've been doing burritos first. Take us through the style of burritos you've been having.
Yes. Before I came here, I thought the burrito in Japanese 7-Eleven is burrito. So this is very thin burrito. It's small burrito. So so when I saw the California burrito, I was so surprised because it has the French fry, avocado, beef, sometimes beans. So
And how big is it?
it's like that. It's so big and
Okay.
volume.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes they're too big for a single person.
Yes, exactly.
But I guess if you've been exercising all morning, it's a nice thing to start your day with.
Yes, perfect lunch.
Okay, so now so let's say you have an early morning surf, and then you go and have a giant burrito. Take us through the studies, your study schedule for a day.
So I think 24 hours is studying time because when I surfing, I can communicate with the local people, and before I eat burrito, I was thinking about burrito ingredients, why it is so beautiful, why Japanese burrito is so small, So, and of course, I think in English because I need to change my brain in English mode, and after that, I take a nap and I
Well,
study.
because the burrito is so big, you have to take a nap, right?
Yes. And after that, I study my homework or essay, the note taking, just I focus on study.
Okay, so let's talk about focusing on studying. The maybe you start your afternoon with some homework. It sounds like essay writing, and I imagine you have videos, and I imagine you also have some teacher interaction. Can you tell us about some of that?
Oh, yes. So, each class has homework. So I write an essay once a week, and this is about 230 letters, and I take a videos for the TOEFL speaking, and also what else? I practice the grammar questions, grammar quizzes for the test, and also and I have reading. I have a book, so the homework is reading the book, 30 pages.
Okay, so now I think I know your first favorite activity outside of your studies and coursework or your schoolwork. It sounds like that's surfing, right?
Yes.
So maybe you can tell us about something else that was that was interesting and fun that you've had the chance to do outside of your studies.
Okay, so also all UCSD has many meetings, but all meetings are virtual, and I feel virtual meeting is kind of boring because it is difficult for me to catch English, to speak English because I don't know when I talked. So I took part in jiu-jitsu class in Denmark uh, to practice English and to use my body. So this activity, because of this because of jujitsu, I could make friends, and the famous surfers teaches jujitsu, so that was a good cycle for me.
Fantastic. Yeah, definitely. So surfing, jujitsu, burritos, and English. That sounds like a good way to study.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Now, I think a lot of people want to understand how the pandemic has changed things. You mentioned a lot of it happened in your first week, but maybe we can talk a little bit more about that. So, I imagine your parents were worried. Can you tell us how maybe how that first week played out when all the classes started changing to online?
Yes. So when the classes changed online, my parents were worried about me, so they called me uh, a lot. And I noticed, oh, I have to call my parents constantly because they are worried about me. So then I have to call my parents a week, once a week, maybe. Yeah. So I think right now they are not very worried about me because I called them.
Okay, that's good. You make sure they aren't worried, and I guess they're worried because they're worried about your safety, as parents do. How have you been keeping safe?
Uh, at first, I I couldn't go outside because of COVID. So I I spent many times at my house. So, but this is good opportunity for me because I can talk with my host family, and they told me a lot of American culture, such as watching movie or listening to music, and my host child can play guitar. So I can learn a lot from them. And I told my parents to that. Then they are not very worried about me.
All right. Well, that sounds like a positive way to be safe when we call it lockdown, when
Oh,
lockdown is happening, right?
mhm.
And let's maybe we can hear a little bit more about as things picked up again. How did maybe California and the UCSD administration respond?
Mhm. So you mean before now, or
Yeah, yeah. Before now, with COVID,
Mhm.
what kind of things changed? What did they tell you you should do and shouldn't do? And what
Yeah.
about now?
Mhm. So UCSD sent me the message, which is you don't go to outside often because the outside is very dangerous. So, and in May and April, we can't go to the beach in San Diego because so I stayed at home for a long time. And I of course I have to wear the mask to go outside. And I didn't go to UCSD campus uh, during the lockdown.
Okay. And how about now?
Now I can go to UCSD campus, but I have to wear the mask. And in classroom, I can't drink water. I can't, you know, eat burrito because I have to wear the mask. And
I I think if you're going to be practicing English in class, you probably shouldn't be eating giant burritos anyways.
oh, that's right. That's right.
But
Uh,
okay, of course. So it means you have to have the mask on all through class, no exceptions, right?
yes, yes, exactly. And I
Okay.
have to keep the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the big rules in.
Sure. And now it's changing again. and you'll have online or virtual next week also?
Yes, from next week, all classes will be online.
Okay. And what about your mobility? Will you be able to move around?
Yes, but I think because of online class, I have a time to go to the beach or to, talk to my host family. So I don't think it is not comfortable.
Okay. And it sounds like you've had a great experience with your host family.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us something special that you've learned or done with them?
Oh yes. So so my host mom gives me a word, which is academic word, and I can learn every day. So that was good. And my host child asked me a lot of Japanese questions, and I asked him about English essay or how about this grammar. So I think we have good relationship. Also, we have a new room. We have roommate. She's from New York, and she goes to university USC. USC, I think. She's master class, and she told me a lot of English, or slang. So I think I think we have good relationship.
Well, that's great. So I need to ask you, but first I need to tell you some rules, okay? So we're going to ask about some slang that you've learned, but we're recording video, so I don't want any bad words, okay?
Yes.
Okay, so can you tell us about some slang that you've learned, some fun slang?
Yes, for example, for me, this is slang head down. I go to the beach, but California people said I head down beach or I cruise the beach like that. So that was the example.
Okay, so for someone listening who doesn't know, head down or cruise, in this situation, it means to do, right? So you are doing, it's the verb. You are heading down to the beach, and that means you are going to the beach, right?
Yes.
So this means you're truly localizing when you're learning the surfer talk.
Yes.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're having a very unique experience during 2020, but that it's still very positive. I'd like to finish with a question about maybe let's think about the last 6 months that you've been there. I know it's not over yet, but what do you think the biggest impact has been for you personally?
Mhm. I think it is very important to try new thing. Uh, Even though this is very hard situation, but I can do a lot of things in here. So I need to try new things and constantly.
Definitely. And now I bet that I believe that your risk tolerance is higher than maybe some other students. I believe that you want to do something, so you do it. And maybe some other students might be worried about a lot of the things, the risks that are around right now. But maybe we can just talk about a general idea of future students. What would you want to tell students maybe thinking about studying overseas?
Mhm. I think study abroad will be very crucial experience in your life. So I want you to try everything, even if you make a mistake or feel embarrassed.
All right. Thank you so much for your time today, Hiroto.
Yeah, thank you so much.